Good morning, Emma. It's Bill here on the morning of the 10th of November 2023, and I just thought I'd make a little video for you to help you, seeing as we can't get a meeting before you see today. So I'm logged in as a super user, which let me just check your level of access. Um, well, as manager, yeah, you'll see all the data related to AUB students when you log in, but otherwise it'll be pretty similar to what I see. There's a few extra clients who are not part of AUB students. So I want to draw you were asking about like how to see what you've got. And so you'll see here on this left-hand side, when you log in yourself, you'll see the number of clients. Now yours will be slightly lower because at manager level of just AUB students, that's all you'll see. And this is describing all the different stages that people are at of these 134 clients and how many have improved and improved a little, etc., according to the Core 10 measure. Now, one of the most useful things you can do is to look at the scatter chart. So I'm going to click on the scatter chart here. And what this does is each one of these dots represents a Core 10 score that was recorded twice for a client. So what you're getting is the combination of the first time the clients came in and the last time they were scored. So when I hover on this client, you can see the name of the client and you can see 26 and 13. So when I drop down here, you can see that's coming down to 26. When I go across there, it's going to 13. So 26 was the score when they first filled in the measure. 13 was the score when they filled it in at a subsequent appointment. And if I want to know what that's like, I can click on that and that takes me to the client. So you can see a huge improvement for this client taking place and 32% improvement as well there. And that just takes you straight into that client record for Samuel Jackson. Now, when I go back to the scatter chart, the same applies to all of these dots. So all of these dots represent clients who've had a Core 10 twice because they couldn't be on the scatter chart if they only had a Core 10 once. There would be no comparison. So it's allowing you to compare the first available score with the last available score for a given client. And you can see that there's 34 of the clients who have these number of measures available. You can look also at the feedback. Feedback doesn't tell you anything about outcomes. There's only 2 clients who've actually filled in any feedback. And you can see I can control what I see on the chart over here on the right side. So that's Core 10 showing here 34 clients, 34 results. And these are called the effect sizes of treatment. So an effect size of around 0.6, 0.59, etc. That's what I would describe as a medium effect of treatment. So there's evidence of a degree of improvement of the clients. And when you come down here, you see the average. So if you added up all of these 34 dots here, all of the pre-scores and divided by 34, you'd get 19.5. And if you added up all of the post-scores and divided by 34, you'd get 15.8. So in other words, on average, the clients are moving from an initial score of 19.5 down to 15.8. Now, obviously, you've got a one-session model. That's a degree of improvement based on those 1 sessions of therapy, and it's a medium effect size. You'd see, obviously, if clients were in treatment for longer, you'd see probably much greater effect sizes. So that's the most basic way of getting your information out, sort of to understand what's going on. So obviously you've got 34 clients, but when you go back and look at the overall number, you have 134. And now, as I say, some of them will be maybe a few test cases of mine, and some are maybe staff, the AUB staff team. But the most of them are here, 134. So it means for 34 of 134, so that's whatever, 25% or 20 to 25% of the clients, you're getting a second reading, you're getting a second outcome measure. Now, obviously, you started off, it was a bit clumsy getting going at the beginning and lots of issues. They're starting to get ironed out. So we would hope as time goes by that this number will improve. By the way, when you're finished with clients, they can be closed. You can see there's only one case, which is yours, which is closed there. I guess you know about how to close a case. The closing of a case is simply you go to profile and you close it over here, whether it was a planned or an unplanned ending. Now, as time goes by, obviously, you would expect to be increasing those numbers of closed cases. You'd encourage all of the therapists to close the cases as they go along. Moving on from there, then, there's a lot more reporting available, but at this early stage, it's probably a bit early for you to be looking at it, but I'm going to just show you about it anyway, so you understand where it comes from. So going back again, whatever you've got displayed over here will be reported on over here on this button, right? So at the moment, I've got everything, like all the open clients. When I go to reports, I'll start off with the most simple report, the usage report. So I can put in a date range and all teams. And in your case, it would just be my team or just me. You won't see all teams because you're at manager level. And this will then pull out a report. And I'm going to jump across to a different screen in a minute to show you what those reports look like. So that's the usage report. At this point, I'm not really sure how much use that usage report is going to be to you, but it's just to explain what you're looking at. You won't see export report, don't worry about that. Client report. So choose to report which to report on, all open and closed cases. There's only one closed case. The date range, well, you started in September. So we've done that and you run that report. Now, when you run a report, it downloads as a CSV file, which will open in Excel. And I'm going to show you those files in a minute. So what you do, you click run, it'll download to your downloads folder. You can open that, you can click on it then to open it. It'll open in Excel. And then if you wanted to end up joining up different tabs in one workbook, you would save it as an XLSX file rather than a CSV file. On a CSV file, you can only see one page at a time. So you can look at them individually, or you could click File Save As XLSX, and then you'll be able to put more tabs, as you'll see in what I'll show you in a second. So that's the client report. So we've looked at usage and client, and there's one other one, the session report. Now, the session report has a lot more information in it. Again, it gives you control over, do I want to see open clients, closed clients, all referrals, and a date range. And these are various, I'll explain what these repeat client data and separate clients means, session data, and then the measures and the answers for the measures. So these are all the individual responses to the core 10. To be honest, this is a level of detail that is really beyond anything that you need at this point, I think. But I just want you to be aware of what's here so you're able to show this to see as well. Okay, and then you would click run again. And again, it downloads as it takes I'll show you. I'll click on run. You'll see what happens. There we go. It's ready to download. When I download that, I get a CSV file. Okay, I'm going to stop the screen share a sec so we can jump across to my Excel that I prepared earlier for you. And we'll get to usage. So what I've done here, okay, we're ready to share again. There we go, AUB reports. Okay, so basically you can see down here, usage client session. See down the bottom here? Now, basically, they're those three reports that I've just shown you on how to extract out of Pragmatic Tracker. And as I say, this is probably way more than what you need at the moment, but it's simply so that you're able to explain to C that you know how to get access to this information, basically, right? So what I did to get the usage report, as you saw, I went and I extracted the data as a CSV file. I then opened that CSV file and I saved this as an XLSX file. And then when I downloaded the next report, I just copied the whole thing. Like if you want to copy a page, you just go there and click, copy to paste it in, and then with each new page, you can sort of paste in like that. You can see, I'm just gonna not worry about that one for the moment. We don't need that, but you can see these are the three here: usage, client, and session. So let's talk about usage first of all. The easiest thing to do is to just open up these labels at the top, and it becomes very obvious what everything is. So you can see the numbers of sessions created, 244, sessions with data, 174. So this is giving you an idea of the proportions that have something. Attended sessions, 115, etc., etc. So this is just giving you some high-level numbers. If you go into your user list, you'll see against each user's name a number. So user number 3 is one person, number 5 is another person, 6, etc. And these all belong to this team 2, which will be AUB students. There's a few clients, as you can see here, in AUB staff, but you won't see them yourself. So that's the user usage report. It's literally telling you stuff about how many times different people have logged in, etc., giving you an idea of the usage of the system. And jumping now to client report. So with client report, there's a lot more information. So basically what a client report is doing is pulling out, along in row 2, all of the information that's gathered in the client profile. So you can see ethnicity, date of birth, gender. You've got the date of birth here, living arrangements, etc., etc. So you're getting an idea of how much information has been captured. Appointment time and date, there's nothing there for. This date here, as we go back over here, this date here is the date referred. So that's the date they're actually created inside Pragmatic Tracker. And over here on the right side, you've got the numbers of sessions the different clients have had, the core 10 measure, the first score, and the last available score. Now you can see whereas on this column here, this column Z, you can see we've got a lot of pre-scores, but remember we only had 34 post-scores. So you can see on this AA column here, that's where the 34 post-scores are. Now, obviously, the aim is to have far more time 2 scores. So time 1 is the first time the core was filled in. Time 2 is the last available time it was filled in. If it was filled in 3 times, for example, you'd be looking at the first available score and the last available score, missing out the one in the middle. But what this is giving you here is the first measure, which you can see is being successfully captured for the most of the clients, and then the last measure, which is basically being captured for 34 of those 134 cases that are in there. Finally, the session report, and I'm just going over these pretty quickly because at this stage, really, it's very early on in the history of your system. This is quite a lot of detail, and it's just to make you aware of what's there. The session report is the most complex report that you have of the lot. So in the case of the session report, what you're getting is, if you take this client number 55, this is all anonymized, so you don't know who the user is by name or the client's name either. So it's deliberately anonymized for that reason, but you can find out who any client is by going back into your system. So this is like client 55. the date they were referred, and then the different sessions that they had recorded in Pragmatic Tracker. In this case, there were 3 sessions. In this case, you can see there's a gap then separating all of the clients. Okay, so here we are with client number 56, and you can see there are 2 sessions associated with them. Client number 54, 4 sessions, etc. So each row is representing information about a session, and this information is just repeated down across all of the rows. So this is all one client here. You can see from there to there. That's just one case, one client, if you like. And over here, anytime you see asterisks, it's missing data. That's where information hasn't been captured. But you can see the core data here. So there's the core 10, and you can see all the different item responses then, 10 different item responses. So as I say, there's a lot more detail in here, and probably far more than you'll ever need, you know. So going back again, so I will send you this as well, so you have all of this. I'll delete that. Just to show you that sheet there. We'll delete that. Usage, client, and session. They're your 3 reports. I'm just going to come back off that and just go back to Pragmatic Tracker again for a second. As I say, the way to look at probably the most active stuff that's going on in Pragmatic Tracker is using the scatter chart, because the scatter chart is really telling you pretty quickly, okay, look, I know we've got 134 clients in the system. However, when I go to my scatter chart, I know I've only got time 2 data, a second measurement point for 34 of that 134. I can drill into these to see how they're doing. By the way, everybody to the right side of this dotted line has improved. Everybody to the left of it has deteriorated. And if they're on the line, they've neither improved nor deteriorated. So you can see 25 when they came in, 25 when they went out. If I click on that, you can see the scoring point up here. There's the core 10, 25 when they came in, 25 when they went out. If I go to a deteriorated client here, so this one was 19 when they came in and 27 when they went out, obviously going the wrong direction. Not what we want to see, ideally. But as you can see, you can learn an awful lot from this scatter chart. And you can learn, you know, who owns a particular client, etc. Because if you go to the sessions, you can see that's an NDF client, etc., etc. So you're able to find your way around. So the scatter chart, I would think, is the first place to go to be able to have a discussion about sort of activity. And then beyond the scatter chart, the usage report will give you some idea about how many sessions have been created, how many times are we getting data, etc., etc. So it should give you an idea. So I hope that's helpful. I wanted to make you something because you perhaps haven't been in again to get a chance to come back to me about making an appointment to see you. And I'm out fairly early this morning, so I won't be able to meet you before you meet with C. Okay, I hope this is helpful. Thank you. Bye.